Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Welcome to the Black Tax. There's an African proverb that says, wood already touched by fire is not hard to set alight again. When I sold my first show, it was an episode. I was happy, I was excited. I thought it was a one-off. When I got the offer to create jingles for gray advertising, I thought it was a one-off. I didn't think it was going to happen again. When I got the opportunity to go to Italy and perform for 15 weeks, I didn't think I was going to get the opportunity again. When the opportunity turned back around many years later, I was now going to be the lead in a reboot on the 50th anniversary of a soldier's play. I didn't think it was going to come back around again. Everything that hasn't worked out, losing my business in 9/11, starting a new business, losing the business during the writer's strike, starting a new business, losing all of the money that I have saved over the years from Lehman Brothers that I lost. Every time I lose something or every time I avoid something, the universe always whips me back to where I'm supposed to be. And no matter how many times I try to avoid it, it keeps coming back. And with each thing, I've learned something new. With each thing, I've learned a new skill set. With each thing, I've watched people walk away who no longer serve my needs, wants, and desires because the person that they were used to having is no more. You never lose, but you always learn. Say that again. You never lose, you always learn. Be it a lesson, you learned about somebody's character, you learned something about your character, you wrote something, it got mocked up, you went back in and you improved it. In all of those instances, losing gave you a learning lesson that you can build upon the next time you try to do it. Now, I have lost a lot of things. But I've learned so many things that the loss means nothing. It's insignificant. I've learned about character. I've learned about greed. I've learned about gluttony. I've learned about life itself. Some people will look at me and think I'm winning. I see myself as surviving. We as a people know how to survive. We know how to make a way when there's no way. We understand what it is to be what we ain't. Nothing changes unless you're willing to change. And normally that change happens because something you went after didn't happen. So you take a step back and will do one or two things. You will either walk away from it or you'll take a step back, reassess, and figure it out. I can't tell you how many times I've walked away from wanting to learn how to edit. I never wanted to learn how to edit. That was not my thing. When in actuality, it was the thing. I bought a brand new MacBook Pro, 17-inch. I paid for Logic. I paid for Final Cut. There were a couple of other programs that I purchased. Not that I wanted to learn them, but I wanted the ability to have everything on my computer. I could go into an editing suite. I can go into a recording studio, plug in. The producers, writers could create whatever they need to create it. We would close the laptop and I would leave. And the reason why that was, back then, webmasters, producers, content creators who you paid would hold on to your shit until you gave them everything, or they would milk every nickel and dime out of you before what you needed to get done, which was agreed upon, you're paying more money for. Everything I've done, every teaser I've created that's on my personal website, on my company website, I did. I created the story, I created the images, or I gathered the images, and I created a story around the images that I gathered. That was a lesson I had to learn. I failed trusting other people to get the work done, but I made sure that I learned how to do it. Nothing that I can do today, I was successful at when I first tried. Again, nothing that I do today, I did well only because I learned from the failure and the lesson from it that I have to put the work in if I want to make a difference in my personal, in my creative, in my business life. I can't sew worth a fuck, but I know how to make a pattern. I know how a sewing machine works. I may not know how a surgeon sutures, but I've had to suture myself in an accident that happened. I fell off a horse and the rivet in the saddle was rusty and it put a gash in my arm. And I had to learn in that moment on the fly how to suture myself with a butterfly suture. I learned. Now, do I want to do it again? No. But can I do it? Yes. Will I do it? Probably not. But I know how to do it. See, I learned from my mistakes and then began to explore how not to make the mistake again, looked at where I went wrong, picked out the problem areas, and then moved forward. Nothing, and I do mean nothing, can stop you from doing what you want to do. And the lessons that you have learned from falling are the tools you need to succeed. The lessons you have learned from falling are the tools you need to succeed. Because had you not tried it and failed, you wouldn't have learned how to fix it and move forward. You are talented. You are gifted. You are abso-fucking-lutely amazing. Even if nobody ever tells you that. I'm telling you that. I had a friend who made a snide comment about my ego. And loosely he said, that ego of yours is a lot. And I was like, it is a lot. I don't need anybody to stroke my ego. I can stroke it myself. And I stroke it very, very well. No double entendre there, but potentially could be. I have to be me. And whoever don't like it, don't like it. I have tried to raise money. I thought I had the money. I walked away from money, millions of dollars, because you thought because you were waving cash under my nose that I would sign over my company to you. That is never going to happen. You're not going to jump on my coattails and then try to take the coat off of me and then assume the role because you think you can. And many people do. Many people think they can do what I do and they can't. Not that they haven't tried. They just don't have the education, the background, the experience to do it. But they'll take the shortcuts. And some people, if not most, if something fails, they walk away from it. It wasn't meant to be. No, it is meant to be. It requires you to work a little harder. It requires you to give a little more of yourself. You don't need to go out every fucking Friday night to hang out with your fucking friends. You don't need to go out spending money that you don't have, that you can put back into the business so you can grow the business so the business can be something amazing. See, that's the difference. That's the game. That's the joke. That's the thing. Every fucking lesson I have learned is because I tried and I failed. But I learned not to make that mistake again. I've learned to take a step back before I do anything and look at all of it. See, these podcasts I have outlined already till the end of the year. Come October, I'll be figuring out what the fuck is season 3 going to be about. Because right now I have no clue. But that's okay. That's several months away. That'll get here quick. So I need to kind of lodge it in the lower right corner of the back of my head so that when I need to touch it, and start on it again, I can. Everything you know, you didn't know before you knew it. Everything you've tried, maybe you succeeded, maybe you failed, but you tried and you learned something from the try and the failure. That's what's important here. So I want you to think about the lessons you've learned from me, from your friends, from your family. I want you to think about all of the pieces of the puzzles that are still missing in what you're building, branding, developing. And then I want you to look in the mirror and I want you to say to yourself, it's okay. I fucked up. I failed. But I also learned. And tomorrow's a new day. So I'm going to try again. As long as you keep moving forward, even if it's baby steps, hell, even if you're standing still in the direction you were moving forward, it's still progress. It's still a movement. It's still a lesson that you're learning while you're building. Stay woke. We out.